Jay, it's always great to speak with you because I know if when I speak to you, the party is happening.
Oh,
That's
thank
it.
you.
That's the bottom line, man. Brother, how much do you enjoy putting these events together for the city of Toronto and knowing that rain or shine or whatever else, if there's going to be an event where people are going to have a good time, it's your event.
Well, you know what? It's not about me. It's really about
No, no,
this.
I'm going to stop you there. No, 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 no. Don't give me any of this. It's not about me. It's about the people out there. No, brother, it is about you because you're the guy who's helping put this together. So pat yourself on the back. Now
Yeah,
you can
well, thank you.
continue.
Okay. No, no, I think it really, when everyone kind of feels they have a role to play in,
Mhm.
bringing people together. And, my comfort zone is organizing people and sitting back and watching it from the sidelines and just being excited that, all these friendships and all this, amazing entertainment gets seen and there's a sense of community. And, that's what I get off on.
One of the big things we are, of course, talking about is the Beaches Jazz Fest. And, it's funny because, of course, I've got this shirt on
Oh,
for,
Ray.
right, because we're talking about jazz and things like that. But really, the Beaches Jazz Festival over the years has really expanded. It's not just about what people will think when they hear the word jazz, they think of Ray or, an artist like that.
Yeah.
But even Ray wasn't jazz. Ray was so many other different things from R&B, blues, country, and things
Country.
like that. The jazz festival itself has changed into kind of like that too. Agree or disagree?
I would agree. I would actually say this is a trend across the globe that the jazz
Mhm.
festivals realize that jazz as an idiom primarily is listened to by older generation, and they need to revive and appeal to younger audiences. Not being said that people don't like jazz of all ages, and I just was at the Toronto Jazz Fest and I saw some really great jazz shows. But I think the programming really needs to reflect the needs and the wants of the audience. And so I think those festivals, the Ottawa Blues Fest and
Yeah.
the Toronto Jazz Fest really have to sort of like look at who their audience is and why they exist, and it's really to serve the interests of the people.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, man. People needing to have a good time when the warm weather kicks out because you know how it is, man. We ain't going to be outside for too long
No,
with
no,
the
we got to
snow and
do
everything else
soak it
that
up.
comes. Exactly. So, look, man, you got some events that you're curating. I can use that word finally. What is going on, man? Because, like I said, you're bringing it all to another level. What's going on? And I know with one of those events, at least one of my favorite DJs is going to be involved.
Okay, yeah. So the first event is actually on Thursday, July 18th. This is an event that we had created last year. It was going to be the inaugural one, and we were sure that we were getting about 4,000 people. We had the crew on breakfast television. We were like all over, but then severe rain and thunderstorms kind of shut us down.
Remember that.
And so that was the all 90's event with Master T from Much Music,
Yeah.
Russell Peters DJ starting from scratch, Mr. Jigs. I actually DJ'd a little bit, Kid Arctic, and we had some break dancers, and it was just like such a fun event for I think the hour that we actually did it. Everyone did get to play, but then and so many people came out in the rain with wearing garbage bags. They were soaked. But once the thunder hit, we kind of had to shut her down. But so
Mhm.
we're bringing that back. And so that's the all 90's event at Woodbine Park. It's absolutely free. We're asking people to RSVP, but really just come show up. And it's a really celebration of everything from the 90's. And a kid that grew up in the 90's, will be celebrating the best of hip hop and R&B and dance hall, and really the 90's is such a special time in music. I just if I want some comfort music, that's what I go to.
You know, two things. Number one, as we do this interview, you must be saying, thank goodness that the rainstorm that we are having in Toronto is happening as we speak this week, not the week of your event. So that's one good thing. The other thing, too, is I've always considered the 90's, and this is no disrespect to any of the other decades or artists, where you had those real singers, R&B singers,
Mm.
performers, and things like that. And I feel like that's the last part of the decade, and that's something that a lot of people cherish for the 90s. Agree or disagree with that?
Well, I mean, I think you're right. There's musicians that really had that talent, but at the same time, I think there's just a lot of innovation happening. You know, hip
Mhm.
hop is just so brand new. You know, there's just new production techniques. There's just like something really that was modern, and I think the people just gravitate. I mean, there's much music and MTV
Yeah.
video culture. Music sort of changed from something that you went and got and saw and maybe heard on the radio to something that had like, you know, visuals and like people were dressed up. It was such an image, and people's lifestyles really gravitated to certain styles of music. I think more than, you know, maybe any other generation. But yeah, no, I think it's just an exciting time, and I'm sort of, you know, glad to have gone through it. I think the difference of today is there's just so many more genres, there's so much more talent. It's like, I think everyone's so broken up into smaller little groups. And I
Yeah.
think back in the 90s, we were all kind of in this kind of group where all this new music coming out, and most people were like, you know what, I'm into all of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. One other thing too, I want to make mention, and we talked about it last year too. Um, Suggestion: people get to dress in their best '90s outfits to come out for this.
Well, you know what? That's what we always ask, and you know, only like a small group of people actually do it. But you know, one of the things that Master T hit me up, he said, you know what? If anyone's got any of their Much Music CDs from like Dem Mix or that, he would love to come sign them. So you know, bring your '90s outfits, your neons, and you know, come meet Master T. He's a super sweet guy, and he's just as you remember him, like one of the coolest dudes you've ever met.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What else? What other events going on with you,
Okay,
man?
so yeah, so that's the first one. So
Yeah.
the Just Jazz gave me like 3 days to program, and so my flagship event really has been the Groovin in the Park event. So this is turned into a 2 day event. It's probably like the third year that we're doing 2 days, but this is the ninth annual Groovin in the Park event. This is a 2 day, really kind of house music focused, but there's a little open format kind of vibe to it as well. The first night is Friday, July 26th. It's being headlined by underground local producer Kenny Glasgow, who's,
Ooh.
you know, started in the clubs in the 90's, went on to become a part of an art department, toured around the world, very respected DJ. And the focus of that night is really on like deep house. So we've got the Break for Love crew. That's you know, Jason Palma, Ice Misto, Dave Campbell, DJ Yogi, and a special guest vocalist, Sasha Williamson, who I think is her sultry vocals are really gonna like push the boundaries of, you know, live soul music and house. So that's super exciting. I'm so blessed to be a part of that, Bill. And then on Saturday, we've got Tony Touch. He's a legendary hip hop and house producer from New York. He made mixtapes back in the 90's and 2000s that featured people like Eminem and Janet Jackson and Busta Rhymes. Like, he is one of the most connected artists in New York. He does an annual show at Radio City Music Hall. He's deep in the Latino scene. He's deep in the hip hop scene. He's deep in the house scene. Recently, he did a bunch of collaborations with Louis Vega. So he's our headliner for Saturday, but he'll be joined by the Sweet Touch Foundation DJs who are behind the Chillin' and Grillin' events that happen in Toronto. And one of my favorite live bands, the Soul Motivators, which are an explosive 10-piece funk and soul band based in Toronto, led by Shahai, who is one of the most energetic, engaging lead singers that Toronto's ever seen. And then in addition, we have like a raft of local DJs like Sarah Sims and My Girl Tuesday, LeBaron James, who are a great electronic duo, just released a new album. I'll be DJing a little bit. I also got a little bit of an open stage segment. We'll have 45 DJs performing. There's also be another section about doing some throwback yacht rock music. So going to be a little bit of everything. The event happens at Woodbine Park. All three of these events, there's going to be a beer tent. There's craft foods. There's shaded and seating areas. It's a wide open space. It's, you know, bring your friends. All these events are really designed to bring the youth and their parents together. So it's family friendly. You know, I'm super excited. I currently live on the east side of Toronto, so it's not a lot of stuff happens out east, and it's becoming even more exciting with venues like History that's popped up to
Yeah.
really put the east on the map. And this is, you know, one of the events that really bring, you know, our east side and our house and funk and soul community together. So, you know, I'm just delighted to be in the middle of it.
I cannot wait for this, man. It sounds like so much. I'm just curious, any merch tables going to be there, do you think?
Yeah, so
Because no,
I actually made some custom T-shirts last year. So last year we had Mark Farina, probably our biggest year yet. We had about 4,500 people, and you know, we sold some T-shirts, but mostly I gave them out to threw them out off stage, and all the artists have them. So we probably will do some T-shirts this year, but there's also like a bunch of free stuff that's also given out. Usually through the sponsors of the event, there's lots of freebies. I think last year there was like uh, freezies for free, and you
oh,
know,
nice.
it's just, you know, the whole thing's really about having fun, you know, bringing a sense of community. I don't think Toronto has like a house music focused festival that is free, that like really helps define our community. And this is what I attempt to do, is like bring all these different camps of house music promoters and DJs, bring them all under the one net, try to like get everyone's fans to intermingle, and try to keep, you know, growing Toronto's house music scene.
No, it sounds like I said, man, it's so much fun. One last question. I'm just curious. Are you filming all this? Because every time I talk to you, I keep hearing documentary, documentary, documentary at some point in time when you gather all these great people. Is there a chance in the future that we may be able to see a documentary on these great events you're putting together?
Well, I certainly hope so. I mean, you know, sometimes you know, a lot of this is like by the seat of your pants, because,
Mhm.
you know, you got a limited budget. Again, it's a free event. You're trying to bring all these communities together. So, you know, some of the stuff like filming sometimes ends up being an afterthought. But we have hired somebody this year to film a little bit. So I am hopeful that we'll have, we always do like a recap video, you know, something more formal. I'm not entirely sure, but good idea. I think maybe we should look into that some more.
Hey, look, man, I want to talk to you on the red carpet at the Toronto International
There we
Film
go.
Festival, talking about your documentary. So, look, man, thank you so much for all of this. Again, when is the first one happening? When is the second one happening? And where do we go to get all our information?
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So the first one is all 90s Renaissance meets Get On Up, starting from scratch. Mr. Jigs, Master T. That's a Thursday, July 18th at Woodbine Park. If you
Mhm.
go to all 90s-eventbrite.ca, you can RSVP, but really just come and be merry. And then the next two Groovin in the Park are Friday, July 26th and Saturday, July 27th, and that's with Tony Touch, Kenny Glasgow, Soul Motivator, Jason Palma, you know, you name it, they'll be there. I'm super excited to be a part of all that. And just to make things matters a little bit more complicated for myself, I'm also touring with my reggae band all through July. We've released a brand new single, which is a tribute to the Tragically Hip. So we're a 10-piece reggae band, and we've been taking Canadian classic rock and reggae-fying it. And so we've
Nice.
reggae-fied the Tragically Hip's Bob Cajun. We just released it. I'll send you a copy. And next this Friday, we're going to Nova Scotia, and we're going to be touring all through Ontario for July and August. So, you know, watch out for me there as well.
I've always said a million times, you know, when a song is great, when it can be turned into a reggae song.
There
So
you
there
go.
you go, man. Look, congratulations on all of this. And more importantly, man, thank you for bringing the funk to Toronto.
Oh,
Cannot
you,
wait, man. Thanks again.
Rudy, thanks for everything you do also to bring community together and share these stories. You know, that means a lot to me. So thank you.